So this is our second English podcast. We've been doing a daily podcast in German for a while. We had some great feedback from the audience. In fact, we entered #1 on the German music podcast charts on the Apple Podcast app, which is absolutely amazing.
Woo!
Thank you. But we're not there yet with the English podcast. It requires more hard work, and hopefully we get to a point where we can do a daily English podcast as well. We've been really enjoying it. So if you like this, go to your Apple Podcast app, type in Mixed by Mark Mozart. Subscribe.
Leave a comment.
Give us a rating. This is a perfect crew.
5 stars.
Fantastic. I'm positioning myself and Nick in the 1 to 3 stars range. Today's different. Mara Kim is our guest today.
You're way too sweet.
Mara Kim has been a good friend of mine for 1.5 years.
Yeah. Well, you don't need a lot of time to really connect, don't you? I mean, it's
musicians, we all have our passion in common. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've been up to in your life, and what's your passion, and why are you here today, and what are we talking about?
I think, first of all, I think I should introduce myself as a musician, as an absolute audio nerd who is passionate about gear, passionate about music, passionate about songwriting, singing, making music, making connections in the music industry, which is full of creative people and just good people too. Yeah, good vibes. Yeah, and we were talking, I think, 2 years or maybe 1.5 years ago at Musikmesse. So at the trade show in Frankfurt where we met because we just had mutual friends, I guess, on Facebook. And we connected through that because we had so many music friends.
It's a pretty small community in the German music industry and we have a lot of friends in common.
Yeah, and so we thought it was time to meet in real life, and then we just instantly, I remember us sitting on a bench and we talked for I don't know how many hours, but we just hit it off.
I was about to go home. I didn't really know you, so it was nice.
That's fine.
We had a nice chat and we had some things in common as well.
And back then we didn't really know where we would connect again, in which way, because and this happens often, I guess, that you meet someone and you just vibe and then you just realize that you are on the same wavelength, right? Where you just feel that you have maybe ambition or the same.
I can remember that back then you have a long history of doing music and being passionate about it, and you will tell us about it in a second. But I remember pretty much, I think 99% of people I know these days, a big shift in the music industry has been happening, and everybody's trying to find a new way to connect their music to the audience. Also to make a living, just look at how you can get music for free these days everywhere, and how should it work?
Yeah, you almost feel as if the music is a byproduct of a fragrance, either than the other way around. So you get the perfume rather than the music of Jennifer Lopez or something. Yeah, I guess that...
Tell us how you started out in the music and then how it was progressing, because there's some exciting stuff there and people might not know from your not existing accent that you are actually German.
Yeah.
But you, but you have been living in the US. And tell us about that.
Yeah, okay, so also I'm only half German.
Okay.
So the other half
What's the other half?
It's Serbian.
Fantastic.
So it's a lot of fire going on there. Yeah, I think that is also where the music came from. So I grew up in Germany though, and I wrote songs. I don't know, just someone who is a songwriter at heart. And I just at one point I had to sit down, write songs, put my thoughts and emotions into music, which sounds so cheesy. But okay, I did that when I was about 11 years old, and I started looking for opportunities to record, to collaborate with producers in Frankfurt, Germany.
Around the corner from where we are now.
Yeah, right? So I felt very much like coming home when I drove here, so it was nice. And the interesting part was that was the late 90s. So I connected then with all those dance people like Amir Zaraf and I don't know, some of those
Funny
guys.
Enough, this was exactly the time when this whole dance thing was pretty much over. And they had a break until David Guetta decided dance music is coming back? Because I had been a dance producer in the early two. My dance producer career ended about 97 probably.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, I was too young back then. But I remember being in the studio quite young, and I had all these Melanie Thornton demos that she did not want to release back then. And I was trying them out, but I was maybe 14, and I was not good enough, I think. I was just like, no. And then also, I was just getting into studio work. So I was 13, 14, singing in those studios, and they were all telling me more age-appropriate things. So I don't know, I was writing very melodramatic stuff. So then I thought, okay, so maybe I should just ease it down and just write about boyfriends and love and na. Anyways, I did that for a little while, until I realized, no, this is not working. And then I went really dramatic again, and I released a song in Berlin where I moved, which was for the Edgar Allan Poe as a theme song. It was a drama, a radio drama. But Edgar Allan Poe is so close to death. It's so dark and it's deep, which I always loved and liked. And I realized that I need to go even deeper also in production and work with people who are really appreciative of that part of me, which is not, as bubbly as I might appear. And I realized I had to bring that across as well in my music, and I needed to be able to express myself a little bit better than just, I want it darker. So I needed to find ways to just tell people more square wave or something. So I just thought, okay, I'll just go to music college and I will be able to express myself properly and just also educate myself in a musical way. Because back then I wasn't fond of any melody dictations or harmony. Writing music was such a pain for me because I had a really bad experience in school where I failed a test and then I thought, this is not for me. I'm not good at this. And so I went to quite a good school, but which was also a struggle, as you know. I wanted to go to Berklee College of Music. That was my plan. And it was tough because I remember doing the audition here in Germany. They were touring for a world program and I got accepted with a scholarship. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah, that was really good.
So basically, you went there but didn't have to go into debt.
No, I didn't. That was one amazing part of it. But then also, I remember my parents going nuts because they said, you can't do this, Mara. I came back from the audition and I had one email in my inbox. And it was my parents writing me a PDF file. You could open it like a real letter telling me, okay, so this is basically what's going to happen in your life if you're going to do the musician route. And it just said like, you're going to just starve and just have no money at all and it will be all painful and bad. And I opened this letter.
Yeah, but before you do that, give us a couple $100,000 to visit our school. Good,
no.
Good pitch.
No, but this was what my parents really were afraid of, that I would land, in debt and that I would just, miserably deal with my life.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, right. And then I did it anyways. I was very advice resistant. So I packed my bags and I said, okay, whatever. If you're not going to be with me on this, I'm just going to not talk to you and just do my thing. So I went off to the States. I went to Boston. I rented a place in Cambridge, which was way out there. And I had to bike in the city because I was very short on money. So every day I was biking 45 minutes into the city and then 45 out. And sometimes that was happening 4 times. So back and forth.
Sounds very healthy to me.
Yeah, I was so fit afterwards. I was super skinny. I was super trained. I was like, yeah. So it was really good.
You could have done the Instagram fitness thing.
I should have. Back then, I should have. Yeah. So, but it didn't exist back then. But yeah, still. So it was good times. I loved it. I loved the people that I met there.
I have to say, for people who haven't heard about this school, it's one of the most prestigious music colleges, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's in Boston. It's been around forever. Famous people went there. Obviously, one of my classmates, so to say, Charlie Puth. Of course, he's a big shot right now. But then also John Mayer, or when you go into the film scoring stuff, the Game of Thrones theme song writer. Yeah, a lot of people who have actually accomplished quite a lot of things. When you go more into mixing, then names like Fabrice Dupont or, Fab or Tony Maserati would just be names that have went to Berklee and so.
And that's part of the Berklee brand,
It is, but then also I feel that Berklee is just a good way to put you under a lot of stress, throw you a lot of work into your face, and then you have to deal with it. I remember calling my mom because after the first semester when I did well and everything, then they were more accepting of my choices. And
I'm wondering, whenever you go to a school, the desired outcome is obviously to work in the actual job one day. And what what was the guidance like from the school as far as going into the music industry? Was there advice given, or was it purely based on here's the skills you need, the technical stuff, the musical stuff?
Okay, so I think it goes both
because
ways.
that's the typical thing everybody's saying about music colleges, that the people teaching there do not really know the business of actually doing it.
No. I mean, those people who are teaching at Berklee, most of them, of course, you have to look for the teachers you connect with.
Yeah.
But every single teacher has something very unique to offer, and it is up to you making the most out of your Berklee experience. So yeah, it is almost impossible if you are ambitious and if you want to go places and if you have a very distinct goal, it's almost impossible to not have chances, at least. So it's this thing where you have Berklee creates opportunities, but then you have to really catch them. You have to work for them. And when I say work,
it helps getting you connected,
but it won't if you suck.
It won't do it for you.
It won't if you suck. You know. So I remember when I was texting my mom on WhatsApp and I said, I don't know what's going on with me. I was so tired. I think I was on 2 hours of sleep in 3 days. I was feeling so bad and I had projects to deliver. And when I went to LA afterwards, I was so glad for that experience because Berklee had prepared me to just actually deal with a lot of workload and a lot of stress.
And then you worked in an actual music editor supervisor job in Los Angeles, right?
It wasn't a supervisor thing. It was a music editorial studio, JTN Music, which was wonderful. I mean, they were just taking off, I think. I don't know their entire history, but at the time that I joined the team, they had just finished, or they were finishing Breaking Bad. So I was wrapping that one up. And then, jobs just came in because Breaking Bad was such a big deal. So we had Brooklyn 99, we had Community Arrested Development. We were with the Crazy Ones, the last Robin Williams show. Helix, we did Bad Teacher. There were so many shows, and that was, most of them were coming out every week. So every week we had 10 episodes or something. So we had to go on dub stage. We had to prepare sessions. We had to keep everything, on the drives.
How many people working in the company?
Well, it was a few remote music editors, but one main guy. And then I was the assistant and also studio manager.
It sounds like a lot of work for you guys.
Yeah, it was great.
Do you have a work visa to stay in the US?
Yeah, so this is the thing with the work visas for foreigners. You do get them for a limited amount of time, for a few months after your studies. And then you can, of course, extend them, go on a visa for artists or something. But at that time, I really wanted a cool break. It was basically me having written the thesis, my master's thesis in business, because that's what I also did in Germany. And then I went to Berklee, and then after Berklee, I went to LA. And it was such a busy time that I wanted to do the visa application from Germany. So I thought, okay, I'll just go to Germany. I'll be good there for maybe 3 months or something, and then I'll just return back to LA. And then life happened, it was just different. So I came back and I saw my parents for the first time in maybe 10 years or something, really saw them, really connected with them. And as I said, I hadn't left things off so nicely. So I was catching up on family time. Then also my sister was there. She's only 13 now. So she was back then 12, 11, something. And I just felt that it is time for me to have a little family time. I don't know. It just sounds cheesy again. But anyways, so I thought to myself, okay, I'll just stick around for a little bit and I'll just do some songwriting and maybe I'll travel a bit. And so I went traveling, and then I did some K-pop stuff, so had a Girls' Generation song out, and that was fun, and that was all great. And then I started in radio, also thinking, well, okay, this is going to be for a few months, and then I'll work on my visa and I'll be gone. And then
and now
and now I'm the radio host there, the morning show host.
The morning show on Radio 7.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I really didn't expect it, because I started as the producer there, and then from producing I said, well, I would do this radio show. It was a music show called the Top 20. I would do it a little differently. I would just sound-wise, and so I was giving them my demo, and of course the demo for the music beds and everything was just me talking on top of it. So they said, you know what, you'll do the show. So I started with a show, which was great. And then a few months later, I thought again, I really need to leave because all my friends are in LA. I hinted that also at my boss. I said, I'm here. It's nice. It's good to be here with family close by and everything, but I got stuff to do. and then they were offering me the morning show. So I don't know. I was just so curious, and I'm learning so much at the show that I didn't expect that I could bring into the music as well, and into into songwriting, the storytelling, just everything that it just comes together in some way. So I'm enjoying that right now.
Works for you very well.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we've been talking for a while now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very
sorry, I got carried away. Maybe.
No. I'm saying in life in general, we've been discussing where this whole music scene is going, and 18 months ago I wasn't as secure about what's gonna happen, but as you know, we've done some stuff here, and something very exciting.
Yeah, I'm liking it. Yeah.
About you is that you're you are actually one of 2 female audio gear nerds in the world.
I can't believe this. There's so much potential out there. I mean, I think that girls could get more into audio gear. But
I mean, Nick and I were talking about it. I mean, we would love to, have some female company here, because it's always healthy in every business and company that you have both male and female.
Yeah. They're a little underrepresented. I remember being in the EPD classes, electronic production and design, and it was just me as the only girl, or maybe, 1 or 2 girls sometimes. And
out of how many people doing it?
Well, the classes were quite small, but maybe 10. Yeah, so there were maybe 2 or 3 girls, and then 10 or 12 people. So, yeah.
That's a lot more. I mean, when I look at my Facebook ads, it's barely 1%. Females looking at the content.
But then again, EPD is already for the nerds at Berklee. So I would say that. So
then also the women that I've met that are into it, they are completely into it. There's no a little bit. They are doing the job.
Yeah, I'd
100%.
say yes, but then also I didn't go as far as C++ programming my own virtual instruments. I went to creating, sample banks and then putting them into Contact.
Which is good place to be. We were just talking about it, right, Nick, the other day. Plugin developers are very sought after. Because there's a couple of different skills that need to come together. You need to have an ear and a feeling for music. You have to be a really solid audio engineer. You have to be aware of the whole history of the gear, of the different compressors, and so you would have a lot of these components for the job, and then you have to be an actual C++, right, programmer.
Well, I'm not not yet. I mean, you never say never, but I think what I do bring to the table is that
maybe one person out there saying, "Oh, I know C++,"
Let's get together. Yeah, the thing is, I think what you have to be very aware of what you bring to the table and what not, and be very honest about it, because then you rather collaborate with people who can do their thing the best. I think that is also what I mostly learned at Berklee, that you just find the right people to collaborate with, because you can't be a master at everything, and it's just costing you forever time, and it's just not a quality.
If you're doing a plugin company, and unless you go hardcore solo entrepreneur and you do it all on yourself.
Yeah, but it's so lonely.
Yeah.
That was also the thing with my LA job. I mean, as much as I love being on the sound stage, for Universal Studios LA, and it's also fancy going to the CBS, trailer stuff, and then taking spot notes with the
living
big
in LA, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Getting the chai tea. No, it's the thing. What was really bugging me about it was that I never saw the sun. And that is also the thing where I think we all have that. I mean, there's plenty of friends that I have still in LA, and they have vitamin D deficiencies. Just because you work all day in a studio, which is mostly windowless, and I'm just going to be blunt about this, I do like being outside also. That is a big point where I think you have to make choices how you can make the lifestyle work in your way, that you can really get the most out of it for yourself. So I really need to do something where I can be with other people also, where I can just communicate, because maybe you've guessed a little bit of a communicator. So I do need that just to breathe and just to just be me. And that is the lonely part about it, because music production is fun, and I love creating soundscapes and, I don't know, just fucking around with sounds, and I love that, But then I don't want to be lonely. And I think collaboration is such a huge part of the creative process. And if you don't do that, then it's just like masturbation. It's not the real thing. Okay, so.
I don't know anything about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so I'm just blushing the way that the Red Studio is, but just...
So how will we get from there to here?
Yeah, okay.
Something went wrong.
Something went south. So let me think. Oh yeah, we were talking earlier at our little lunch conversation that many people bring out or release their EPs. And it's so easy nowadays because you can just put it online, you can put it on Bandcamp or have it on iTunes and pay a little fee or something. And then you just have your EP out there. Maybe you got it nicely produced and you've got the artwork going for you. And we all know that as musicians, you have them in the news feed. My new EP is out.
Well, the conversation actually started with me asking, what is it that besides the radio show, which you want to continue, who are you actually and what is it what you want to actually do? And then you said, well, you actually do want to do the artist thing. And then there's always this thing, we've been joking about it a little bit, the EP.
The EP, yeah, nobody cares about your fucking EP. And it's so sad.
True. Yeah,
it's
true.
so sad. And I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be, because it reminds me of the Berklee days where I saw the singers.
My first take on this is through streaming music and songs and EPs and whatever the fuck has become a commodity. You can access it everywhere, and as an artist you have to make very sure that you become a brand. There has to be, I mean, a hit song is a hit song and it can play on the radio, on every radio station and do very well, but it won't help the artist. You know, if Max Martin writes a hit song, he can place it with A, B, C, D, E, and with all of these, it will become a hit.
And that would be nice too. If Max Martin wants to take me on as an intern, I would gladly accept. That is my big dream too. Yeah, I mean, Max Martin is my big, hearts in the eyes idol. But I mean, the EP thing, it's not about me putting out songs, because the K-pop song, I've had a dance track out, which was played at Ultra Music Festival, and it's not about that. To me, it's not even about my vocals on the radio. I mean, I've released some stuff, but it is about me producing something that
expressing yourself.
Yeah, what I was saying about the darker side, showing something of me that is not commission work, that is not a paid gig, where people tell me...
Well, I know from myself, and you've been agreeing to this, that pretty much every female singer-songwriter, and goes for the male ones as well.
Yeah, it's so sad.
On my Facebook timeline, I have a lot of singer-songwriter friends. Each and every one of those, who gives a shit about your EP?
Yeah, and who even wants to write down, I'm a singer-songwriter? It's like, I'm a singer-song... Yeah, okay, don't continue.
You know what? I mean, we've been talking about this. People under 30 now tend to listen more to podcasts than to music on their morning commute, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as an artist, you have to tell a story, become a brand. And my first take on it was switch up the format, you know. Write a song a day, 1 minute long, and post it every day. Do it, let me say, every work day, so you would still have your weekend. And at the end of the year, you will have 250, if I count right, roughly 50 weeks.
Yeah, and I love that idea. I love the idea.
Work days.
You don't overthink, because then you put it out, you can just take the next song.
And I think that's the only way you can progress as a songwriter, as an artist.
And you get feedback too.
Yeah,
instantly.
Obviously, all social media channels, Facebook, Instagram,
everywhere,
live, and you tell your story, and you have a song a day, which is something very special. Not many people do, and I mean,
not many people are able to do.
Create that much output.
Yeah, quantity and then quality, because that's the one thing 99% don't have. She's really good, and people will actually...
Well, I gotta prove that.
Yeah, people will actually... Yeah, but then being good alone doesn't help either.
Yeah, you gotta put the work in.
You have to put out the stuff, and I think...
It's a commitment too. I think it is a commitment when you go on a social media, as you did with the podcast. So you started it, but then you also just kept going at it. I think you can't do it for a week or two, or maybe a month and then stop. It's just like when you get the gym membership and then you stop it, and then it's just like, it's not doing anything. So you have to just push and just go further.
I have had fantastic conversations, and I don't need to tell you, we've been talking about this, you know, we have more work than we can handle at the moment, which is great, because then you start to select, and I have fantastic conversation. I get fantastic feedback from my old music business friends that I've shared some path along the way, and I can only recommend to put yourself out there. But I think when you put yourself out there, you have to put yourself out there working hard and
and struggling too.
Yeah.
Because of course there is, I think, at least if you're not Max Martin, there is not a real formula for a hit song. But then also I think
he's working hard. I mean, I read this interview when he said only 1 in 200 notes on my iPhone make a hit song, you know.
Okay, I'm just he is like gear to me, and I love gear. Okay, so yeah, okay. I get very enthusiastic about gear, which is also why we were talking earlier, because there is a new thing for us.
It's a very unique thing you have.
I get very blushed cheeks when I talk about gear.
Being a woman and being completely
talking about compressors,
completely
EQs,
crazy about
my Neve preamp.
Yeah, this is crazy. And you know, if I said it in the German podcast, if there's 100 people doing gear reviews out there, and one of them is female, and this is actually you know, guess who's sticking out of the ocean?
Yeah, I hope it's just me being very enthusiastic and not just I have, you know, other private parts.
This is something I'm just saying. This is something we want to incorporate in our podcast. You know, there'll be a little Mara, Kim
gear corner,
gear review corner, whatever.
Where I can geek out.
Yeah.
And just show people what I'm
and
doing.
I think you should actually do it from your actual perspective as an artist who wants to get stuff done. And now somebody sent me this plugin or this headphone or this and that.
Yeah, and I'm buying stuff too. So
it's
getting quite expensive.
What does it actually do? How does it actually help me express myself? And
I'm very much looking forward to it. I mean, I was doing a little live video on Instagram the other day.
I saw it.
Yeah, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
You saw me being super enthusiastic about it.
Stars in your eyes.
While we are preparing our live session here, so
yeah.
from there and
and I was just like, oh yay, yeah. And the thing was, it started as some follower on Instagram texted me, so what's your setup like? I thought, well, this is going to be a long comment on a photo. So I just went live.
Yeah, I do the same thing, because the letters I would write as a reply to some PMs I'm getting is like, oh, let me just hit live and explain the guy what's going on.
Exactly. And I felt it was so nice, because this is the other thing, because
this is fantastic. And you know how people feel cared about, and
it's a real connection.
If you give them a video answer, this is completely, you know,
it's almost like as if you were on FaceTime, right? Because you are just there.
The ninja way of using social media, you know, you use technology to actually connect to real people.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this much more, because what I don't like about Instagram is that they are so sterile in a way. I guess, I don't know, I don't love the distance too much. I'm just...
There's not too many women who love Instagram girls.
No, it's not about the boobs. I love boobs. I love boobs. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is more for me that it's just, I don't know, the life experience was just more, it felt to me as if I was on FaceTime with a friend and I could just show them my little home studio setup and just talk to them. And I just forgot that I was broadcasting live and that everybody could join. And I don't really care, because, you know, I'm not different in any way. It's just like... Pfft.
Yeah, but I think that's the spirit.
Yes. I think for me this works. So that's the thing. Because some things don't work so much and some things just do. So.
I mean, I had to ask 2 or 3 times, but you're actually completely, really passionate about gear, and you're complete gear nerd.
You can't believe it.
I love it, but I had to ask you about it so that you wouldn't come back later saying, you know, this gear world, I know it's your world, Mark, but
I just want to
I'm
be
just
part
a girl.
of your world. No.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And I don't even know where it came from. I think it was just the EPD days. I don't know. And then
probably
also,
being treated like the girl that should stay in the vocal booth and not...
Yeah, maybe that also. I mean, yeah, because producers that I worked with...
Empowering
and
you.
Even now, I got my home studio set up, and then people told me, you know, girl, just, you know, don't focus on the technical side too much. It's about your vocals. It's about your voice. And I'm thinking,
let the dudes do the...
Stay just, you know, dependent on somebody. I mean, that's fine if I choose to do that. You know, if I choose, okay, I need a good mix.
That's fucking crazy.
I
because,
want somebody
I mean,
with, you know,
if you look at the amount of work with technology you've already been doing in the US with your radio station on a daily basis.
I produced the whole jingle package.
So are we calling this episode Girls in Pro Audio?
I think so.
Mara, Kim?
As a girl representing the girls out there. That's nice.
Yeah,
I'm really curious to see who, as a girl in Pro Audio, is going to join and is going to join the conversation.
I want to increase my female fan base.
Yeah, Yeah, I'd love to see
I've
more
been
women
saying
in
to Nick.
true
Target some
audio.
girls now. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, girl power.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then also, no, I was at a concert by Sean Paul. So, and then I was talking to the manager, saying, and then I went to Berklee, and it was just that feeling that nobody can really do it because I have it in my head, and I'm the only one who can bring that out because I'm the one in my head.
It's faster.
Yeah, and the phrases that I said, Sean Paul was sitting like that, and he was just saying it as I was speaking. He was just saying the line exactly, and then he was nodding at me like, yo. However, I haven't done it. So this is the thing. Do you say that in English even? I was pregnant with this idea of getting my EP out. Like I was going with this idea in my head. I need to get this out. I need to do this. And then there's always perfectionism where you really want to match up your standards and everything. And when I do commission work, it's fine if it sounds, amtlich. I don't even know what that is in English, but if it's like
Approved.
yeah, I guess it's like yeah, that's good. Like
Stamp on it. Official stamp on it.
it's like fine, it's good, it sounds professional and decent, and it can go
Good
out
enough.
there. I don't know, but it's maybe a little bit more because I have, also, But then when you do your own artist thing and you feel like I need to really express myself, then this whole 1 minute and one song a day
And
comes
then
in so handy because then you don't think about it.
Yeah, fuck perfection on your own
Yeah,
stuff.
so I'm just gonna fuck perfection and I'm just gonna do it, and then you're going to be witnessing me struggling through it and just doing it.
I can't wait to hear everyday song,
Yeah, me too. I'm a little bit scared of it now that I'm expressing it, but I'm gonna do it. So that's just there. Yeah, it's out there now. Now I can't.
Shit.
Yeah. Didn't you say earlier I'm gonna give you a few days like to just
To ramp it up. I mean, we've been doing it with the podcasts because it's not an excuse. There's some technical stuff you have to get together, and then we couldn't actually do a daily podcast unless we got another guy who would do some editing in the background, because otherwise, I wouldn't be doing any mixing and mastering here, and Nick wouldn't either.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff. I mean, you just have to take care of stuff as it.
But I can document also just me setting up the microphone, because I got a new microphone. I got 2 new microphones, the SM7.
Also, before I started this whole video thing, I had to force myself.
Yeah.
I can tell you now that I bought a brand new MacBook Pro Retina, Canon DSLR, pretty expensive, and lenses and the whole stuff. So I would force myself to get started, and I actually got started. And now I'm finding out it's not really about the video. You can put up your iPhone, and the iPhone 7 Plus actually has a fantastic picture. Sound is actually more important, and we've been talking about this, it from radio, and we gotten these close mics. Nick has one and I have one, and we got you this.
a big one. I got the biggest one.
And sound is really important, because if you can properly treat the voice and it's compressed and has some impact, it's direct, it affects how you're perceiving it and how powerful you are perceiving it. I was experiencing it the other day, where I switched between the fully treated audio track of our podcast between the audio that the camera was recording from a distance, and it's such a huge difference. So I would say, and you've said this earlier, on social media, if your voice is involved, audio is more important than the video.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
If you got a really nice sound, it
Talking
sounds so
about
much
it.
more.
Is the audio
confident
still
and-
on, or
I
do we have
I
battery?
do my regular check.
So where were we? Yeah, you made some commitments gear-wise, cameras, MacBook Pro, all those, just
It
to
was
force
a trick,
you into
just
it.
to trick me.
I think what I did, I got a carpet, and I think that got me started. I don't know, it was just, I had a...
You should do it for your dog, for the love of your dog.
Yeah, I put my feet on the carpet, and it feels so
What's this
good.
noise? Lots of emails.
I don't know.
coming in.
To me, it's very much about the vibe, and now I feel very comfortable in my home setup. So I can't wait also to just get there and just hit it off with my Neve preamp and with my Loudon Atlantis.
So, I mean, since you got here this morning,
Yeah.
a lot of commitments.
Yeah.
Write a song a day,
And then the gear corner that we want to do.
and there the audience can help us. They can, maybe it's time for the pitch now.
Which pitch?
For your page, for your social media, you should all follow Mara Kim. And
Oh, yes,
and if
yes.
if she's not doing the song a day,
Shame me. Social media shame me.
from Monday to Friday, these guys will.
But give me 1 week off though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So I
worries.
gotta get started.
Yeah,
I
you
gotta get
gotta-
started.
Get your mic cable connected.
Nick, you're going to give me a customized XLR,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we'll
Because
see
I
then.
asked you nicely. I love that he's doing your cables.
Yeah, and-
This
Not
is
only
a
the
class
cables,
I
but-
think that it's actually a class at Berklee that I should have taken.
He's building these compressors, and she actually just did a studio tour in German. We will do an English one as well.
Of the upstairs.
Oh, that's a nice idea. We should
Upstairs, downstairs.
here upstairs we have a workshop where Nick's all building all the electronic stuff.
Yeah.
You know, where she's welding from cables to compressors.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're still here tomorrow, so tomorrow is a good idea. As you are the gear corner
Yeah.
of
I'll
our
check it out.
podcast, we'll do a studio tour for you with you in English because we just did the German one. So, guys, tomorrow,
Yes.
my commitment
Yes.
to our audience. So, a song a day,
The Gear Corner.
the Gear Corner, both in German and English, which is a lot of. It doesn't have to be in every episode because we need to get the gear, which I
Yeah.
guess.
And I still have the radio show. Don't forget that. But still, let's find a rhythm that we can agree upon, and that we'll talk
everything.
about it. Everything. Yeah, the world, the universe.
Yeah, we have to just do it all.
Yeah, we will.
Good, fantastic.
All right.
Anything else? I mean, getting shit done is the key, right?
Yeah, and then also you just got to start early. You know, you just got to start early in the morning.
Or for your morning show, you get up 3 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, I get up 3 o'clock. I get home maybe.
I get up 5 o'clock.
You're one of the German people who are online very early.
I can't do it every day, but in summer, it's just nice. You know,
Yeah, it's very nice. Good working hours. Nick, what about you? What's your rhythm?
It depends. Sometimes I have to work late to finish some projects.
Sometimes we have a nice shift thing going on. When I leave here at 8 or something, Nick takes over the studio and he has some stuff he needs to finish. And then if he works hard, I don't care. He works the whole night. But then we committed to do the German podcast at 9 a.m. in the morning now, which we won't be able to do it every day, but most
Like
of the
today.
days. It's just, we just have to work harder than everybody else. Since we're not more talented than the rest of the world.
Exactly. We have to make up for it. We have to, just balance it out.
Yeah, we're no geniuses, so.
Not everybody can be an Einstein.
Yeah, so it's a 1, 2, 3 star podcast, and this is a nice ending for this show.
Subscribe.
Actually, I think you guys should not watch this on Facebook Live, and I tell you the reason.
Why?
You guys should work hard all day and not let your day dictate by Facebook. So what you should do is head on over to the Apple Podcast app, subscribe to the podcast. There's an English one, this one, and there's also a German one if you're German. Just type in Mixed by Mark Mozart and you find them both, and you can subscribe to both of them, and one of them is English. These guys subscribe to the English one. Give us a rating. We're not really good at this, so between 1 and 3 stars, I think, will be a fair rating for us. Today is different. Today, Mara deserves 5 stars, especially if she's following through the plan of a song a day and this crazy shit she has.
Crazy shit, exactly. Yeah, okay, so if you want to get distracted anyways, then you can just find me on Instagram at Mara Kim Music.
Mara Kim Music will get the people.
Yeah, everywhere. I'm on every social media channel.
Snapchat, Instagram,
everywhere.
Facebook.
I do have the Mara Kim Music thing going.
And I will, or you can do it in a second, add it to the comments of this feed.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes.